Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're all doing well on this wonderful Monday. Stream is going to start in about 15 minutes. 15 seconds, sorry. And then we can get through the Monday chart show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. Monday, October. Bull run. $125,000 Bitcoin yesterday. What a weekend we have had, and we have more to come. It's October. I think I said $136,000 to $140,000 for Bitcoin by the end of the month, or maybe not even the end of the month. Maybe we get there in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. However, there is still a good chance that we retrace just a little bit. We'll have a look at the charts in a bit. Maybe we retrace at the start of the week and then we go on in a few weeks to new highs. I hope you're all doing well. Danny is in chat. Kishan hidden. Alpha is here. I hope you're all doing incredibly well. Remember, we're on Binance Square as well. If you're over there, all well. Now, on the screen, before we get into the show, you will see Halloween special yet. It's still Halloween special yet. It's still a few weeks away, but we have got costumes. We have got outfits to wear. So the Halloween special is the 29th of October. But before then, we have 3 other streams, and we're going to fit in a 4th additional stream. We just don't know when we're going to do it. Good morning to KB, and good morning to Mags. I hope you are well. I suppose we should get started. So there you can see we have Binception, we'll call it. That is our Binance stream. You can see there the $125,000 was achieved while I was asleep. Let's point that out. Doesn't wait for me to be awake. It happens in the middle of the night while I'm asleep, and I wake up and we're already back down at $124,000. Bitcoin new all-time high was 125,400, something along those lines. The bears can only keep the price down for so long before it explodes to newer highs. Always remember that. Plan B. Explain this on the day. Price breaks to the upside. Now, from the sensible to the absolute ridiculousness of this statement. And again, it's silly season. It's not Halloween season, it's silly season. Tom Lee predicts Ethereum is going to go to $60,000 by matching Bitcoin's network value within a couple of years. Now, obviously, he's not saying $60,000 today. He's not saying $60,000 this year. I struggle to see a 12x in Ethereum. I struggle to see it. I think we'd be great to hit $20,000 in the next cycle. I don't see $60,000 on the cards. However, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I won't care. But we have to be aware that there are people who will simply give you bigger and bigger numbers to get more and more airspace. I could sit here and tell you we're going to go to $444,000 for Bitcoin. But when we don't, where is the responsibility on me to explain why we didn't? And that is one of those things. Now, I gave you 4 coins last week, did I not? World Liberty Finance, I gave you Pump, I gave you Plasma, and I gave you Aster. This came out an hour ago, 54 minutes ago. Binance will list Aster DEX with a seed tag applied. More information here. There is a new listing of Aster on Binance. I'm sure when we go and look at the markets now in a second, we are going to see that that has absolutely broken to the upside. Okay? And I'm going to sit here and tell you all of the sensibilities are now out the window. Okay? I said this a little bit on Friday. It's gone. Okay? The game's gone. There's no point in me sitting here in silly season telling you about tokenomics, unlocks, cliffs. There's no point. We're past that point. That was 6, 12, 18 months ago. Now we're in silly season. Now we're in the season where, let me think of somebody. Sam Bankman-Fried comes out of prison and launches SBF token, and it goes to $1 billion. That's where we're at in the cycle. And again, you can do one or two things. You can flow against the tide, or you can swim with the tide. I'm just not going to bother, okay? I'm going to give you sensible price targets. But when these types of coins launch, or on a bit of a rip, from now on, I'm going to give you the names of them. I'm also going to tell you to not go and degen in with your life savings to them as well. But Aster, irrespective of what I think about how it's been promoted, who's promoted it, what it does, whether the volume is fake or not, it doesn't matter. It's listed on Binance. It's going to go higher. Simple as that. Now we're going to look at the markets and see where we are. I might start doing bubbles, you know. I like the bubbles. It's just that most other people do bubbles. And I'd rather do something a bit different. Just making sure the stream is on, which it is. Fantastic. Bitcoin coming in at $124,000. $124,000. Ethereum almost 4,600 freedom dollars. XRP, however, is having a little bit of a moment, stuck under $3. But the talking point from here, for me, has to be BNB. BNB, again, at all-time highs. This is not on anybody's bingo card. I don't care who you are. I don't even care your CZ. BNB continuously breaking all-time highs is on nobody's bingo card. Bitcoin breaking all-time highs at this time, of course, that's what it does. But BNB, where are we going to go? What crazy, stupid predictions are we going to get from the experts this time? $1,500 to $2,000 is what I have said all along. We're almost at the end of the road for BNB. We're there. I mean, look at the market cap. $168 billion for BNB. Where are we going to go? $250 billion? $250 billion for XRP would be another $800 on that. It'd be $2,000. I mean, we're not going to go much higher than that. Solana coming in at 234, well placed. Cardano above the 80-cent mark at 85 cents. That's good. Hype still below $50. Chainlink still at $22. As we said on Friday, you're coming into the final few laps of the race. You don't want to be getting lapped, but you do want to be in the pack, ready to break for that final stretch. And a lot of coins are primed. A lot of coins are more primed than others, but a lot of coins are primed. And clearly, Ethereum is $400 off all-time highs, less than 10%. Bitcoin is $1,000 off all-time highs. XRP is 70 cents. That's 20% away. A lot of coins are in touching distance. And when people are saying to you, when alt season, what do you mean when alt season? We have alt season, okay? It's just not all alts are going to go back to all-time highs. These prices are almost at all-time highs. When we break and we have the so-called alt season, it's going to last for 6 to 8 weeks. That's alt season. It's not a year. We're not going to be sitting here in June next year if the bull run finishes in November and December. We're not going to be sitting here in June talking about a $10 Cardano. We're probably going to be talking about a $1.50 Cardano. Alt season comes at you fast. From October the 31st to November the 24th, that was the run last cycle. From Halloween to November the 24th, that was 25 days. And then to come down roughly 30-35% took 9 days. So you've got 34 days start to finish. Alt season, 34 days. It's a month. Okay? It's not a season. It's not 3 months. It's not 6 months. Be very careful with who you listen to. Big gainers then. BNB is up there, as you'd expect. Mantle is up there. Aster, I am surprised that's only had a 3% pump. I'd expect it to be more, but the news only broke an hour ago. It's at $2.08. We all know that's going to go to $4. We all know. We've got CZ's four fingers. It's going to go to $4. It's written. I mean, you bought it at 20 cents or 15 cents. Congrats, you've made a fortune. Plasma is up there. Again, one of my picks. Solid project. And I think that's going to take time to build. And I think it's a very, very solid idea for a project. Losers, Pump.Fun, another one of my picks, is down 9%, but it is up 13% on the week. Pudgy is down. Sonic, near, 00, ASI at 58 cents. This should be in the bull run $5 to $10. Do we still have time? Absolutely. Of course we have time. Can it go to a 10 billion plus market cap? Yes, of course it can. That puts it at what, about $5? Bottom of my range. Celestia is down at 148. I remember the good old days of $20 Celestia. That has zero chance of going back to its all-time highs. Hype is down, still under $50. Not a bad shout. Lots of mixed coins, I would say there. Right, we're going to have a look at some charts today. That is what we do on a Monday, because why pick any other day of the week than a Monday morning to look at numbers and charts? I say it every week. This week, there really isn't an awful lot. We've got a bit of chat going on. Fed Reserve, governors speaking, not really a lot there. I think Wednesday, do we not have some kind of unemployment news, or is it Thursday? We have some. There we go. Jobless claims on Thursday. That's about the only thing that we have that I can see. Friday, nothing really happens on a Friday. Next week, we have a few other things coming up. CPI data on the 15th. That's probably the next big bit of news. So that gives us, what, 9 days? 9 days to have some happy moves. Again, nothing to talk about this week. Let's move on. We're not going to look at liquidations. That is irrelevant. We're going to start with the DXY. And again, we're probably not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just waiting for it to break up. The same way as I'm waiting for Bitcoin dominance to break up, which we'll have a look at. The dollar, I think I've drawn a curve. Or I had drawn a curve on this. I think, as I've said for weeks, these moving averages need to be broken for us to start to get up into this area. We've come to the midpoint of the moving averages. We've done that before here. This time we broke all the way up. These times we didn't even break into it. The DXY is struggling for direction, but it's going to be at 100. It's going to be here before you can say boo. Again, it's not the massive indicator. It's not going to determine $150,000 Bitcoin or not, but it's one thing I keep an eye on, because at some point we are going to get a fight back against Trump, and we are going to get a stronger dollar. Okay, he doesn't want a strong dollar, but I think it's going to recover. Now, this is maybe the one I've drawn the circle on, and here we go. Okay, look at my arrow. We are back at 59%. I have said that I don't expect us to go to 65, 66%, or whatever Ben Cowan said, 70%, 65%. I don't think we're going to go there. I think what could happen, and I think I said this last week, and if not, I said it the week before, I think we'll come up maybe here. What's this? This is 61.4. This is 60.5. I think we might come up here and then break down. Maybe. And this is Bitcoin dominance. I'm not going to keep repeating what all of these different things mean. Most of you watch me every week. I don't need to keep repeating myself. But I do think Bitcoin dominance is going to go up. How does Bitcoin dominance going up look? For example, let's look at the Bitcoin price. Now, let's say we go to $130,000 this week. And let's say the market fails to keep up with Bitcoin. So let's say Ethereum just goes to 4,650, 4,007. let's say that Solana just gets to 240, let's say XRP gets to $3.10, but let's say Bitcoin goes to 130. The percentage of overall market cap that Bitcoin has will push it up here because it is gaining faster than the alts. That's what Bitcoin dominance is. This breakdown has the cause of this breakdown is of course cyclical, but you see that in the price of Ethereum. Ethereum was $1,200, $1,300, $1,400. Then it was $2,000. Now it's $4,500. It's the second biggest altcoin. So it's the biggest altcoin. It's the second biggest coin. So when Ethereum goes from 1,500 to 4,500 or 2,500 to 4,500, this is what causes this breakdown. The alts grow faster than Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up 5% and XRP and Solana and Ethereum go up 10%, Bitcoin dominance breaks down. We're not seeing that yet. We're seeing a bottoming. This line in the sand, by the way, has come early. My line in the sand for the alt season was the 14th to the 18th of October. We literally started on the 1st of October. We literally started going for it. And I don't think that this is necessarily it. I've been looking at a few coins from the last cycle to look at when it really started. And it really started about the 30th of October, 31st of October. And I don't know if the cycle is wrong. If we're going to go from the 30th, 31st of October to the 24th of November, and like we said before, that's 25 days. If we're going to go 25 days from the 1st of October and we don't stop from now on, that takes us to the 25th of October, and that's the all-time high. If we go off what happened in the past, give or take a few days. So, we've broken a lot of records this weekend. If we look at this, for example, this is the total market cap of crypto. Let's move this up to here. Okay, that was the candle close. Previous all-time high for crypto was about 4.12 trillion. We are now at 4.18 trillion, so we have broken up. Okay, signal number one. Now, if we look at the total market cap without Bitcoin and without Ethereum, this is going to be news to me as much as it is to you, because I haven't looked at this chart before we've gone live. We are sitting not really too far above all-time high. So if we take it from there, 1.17, we're at 1.16, we're kind of at all-time highs for the total market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it hasn't technically really gone on a run. We're above, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we're not. We're still at this point here, and we still have chance to come down. Maybe we see... Okay, I did not have the 1st of October as my bull run beginning. I had the middle of October. And again, you can be wrong, you can be out, you can be off by weeks. If you look at what we said at the beginning of the year, I said all-time highs. I think it was something like end of April, and then we hit all-time highs 14 days later. So I can be out by weeks. Of course I can. I am not an expert at this, but I'm close enough. Now then, this is the Bitcoin price. What I would like to see, I've even got my big shiny red arrow here, which is the 14th. What I'd like to see, and don't laugh at this, is this. Okay? I would love us to come down to one of these prices before bouncing again. Now these prices are about 117 and 120. Okay? Over here, you were all rich. Beyond your wildest dreams, you were all rich. You were all going to go and buy Maseratis and Lambos and Rolls Royces. And I said, it's too soon. And guess what? Absolutely was too soon. And then we put in a bottom against the bull market support band. We came up, we got to the mid-range. What did we do? We retested the bull market support band again. And what does the bull market support band do when you find support at it? It acts like a trampoline and you bounce higher. But I'd like to see us come down and test. Do you remember me telling you here that this range was about 110 to 118,000? And I said what I'd like to see us do is break up and bounce. So over here, what I would love to have seen is that. Okay? What I want to see here is this movement and a bounce. Now, I don't get what I want. That doesn't mean that what I say is going to happen. It's what I'd like to see. I think this has been a violent move. From the 27th of September, we've gone from 109 to 125,000. So we've done a $16,000 move, which is, what, a 10% move? We've done a 10% move in 9 days. That's a big move. Let's have a retracement before we go up. That's all I'm asking for, okay? Doesn't mean we're not going to get to 136,000, and it doesn't mean we're going to go up here, which is about 160,000. Doesn't mean any of that. It just means when we're climbing a cliff, if we don't test our support as we go up the cliff and we slip, and that support beneath us isn't strong enough, guess what? You fall an awfully long way. I'm sure you've all seen the Chinese guy or Japanese guy fall off the side of that mountain they were walking up because he took off the safety harness, okay? The safety harness is using these previous levels as support for a bounce. Now, of course, that is of course possible, but I just want something like this. That's all I'm asking for. That's what I'm going to say on those. Now, again, I don't try and spend too long on all of these, and I don't want to labour the point. You know what I mean. When we go up like this, people think it goes on forever, and it doesn't. And when we go down, people think we're going to go down forever, and we never really do. And we're not going to keep going down in a bear market, in a bull market. Coin in a bull run is to go up. The same way that the trajectory of Bitcoin in a bear market is to go down, and every pump is sold into, and we put in lower highs, and we just keep coming down and down and down. But in a bull market, we will have retracements. A $16,000 move in a week and a half is a big move. So, find some support. Let's go up again. Good chance Bitcoin tops several weeks from now, analysts claim. Now, several weeks from now, let's take it as 7 weeks from now, is 49 days. 49 days from now, 54, is the 23rd of November. And the 24th of November was the last top, cycle top, on the 24th of November 2021. That is when we topped out. So they are predicting we top out at exactly, roughly, precisely, whatever word you want to use, the same top. It might be on the cusp of a cycle top, according to Glassnode analysts. Again, I'd listen to Glassnode analysts more than I'd listen to Charlie Lee or anybody else. I don't think I've included that, actually. The Litecoin founder, I don't know if you saw the comments over the weekend. He said if he had his time again, he would never have set up Litecoin, and he would have simply bought Bitcoin. That's what he said. He also said he didn't make that much money out of Litecoin, but I distinctly remember him selling the top. I distinctly remember him selling all of his Litecoin and then saying, I've sold it all because I want to recuse myself so I can become impartial. And then proceeded to do what? Disappear. That's what he did. So Jan Happel and Jan Aliman have predicted that the price of Bitcoin could reach the peak of the current cycle within just 4 or 5 weeks. As reported, the flagship cryptocurrency reached new all-time 125.7 on the Bitstamp exchange. However, it failed to enter a new price discovery stage and gave up most of its gains, slipping below the 123 level earlier today. So far, the sudden price jump looks like a typical Sunday fake out, and it's unclear whether something substantive will actually happen to come out of the most recent rally. Various pundits, such as Tom Lee, believe that the cryptocurrency could surpass 200,000 this year. However, this is extremely unlikely to happen within the relatively short span of time. I absolutely agree with that. According to Polymarket bettors, Bitcoin only has a 1% chance of getting to 200,000. The odds of Bitcoin eventually surpassing this level during the remainder of 2025 currently stands at 7%. I don't think we're hitting $200,000 this year. We haven't got enough time left. What do we have left of the year? 11 weeks? 11 weeks to do that? Don't see it. Some bulls believe that Bitcoin still has more room to run. It's still underperformed as much as 10% despite the recent gains. If Bitcoin were to reclaim its 2021 peak against the yellow metal, its price would be trading around 150,000. Now, what do we have our top on Bitcoin at? I think we'll get to 136 to 140,000 in October if we base it off previous Octobers. October is the best month in the history of Bitcoin. So if we say conservatively that we only get a 20% pump, that puts us at maybe 135, let's say. So I think 136 to 140,000 in October is on the cards. In November then, how much higher can we go? 160, 170, some people calling from 180,000. Again, it's really hard to call, but to go from 140 to $200,000 in a month, the sheer amount of money that would have to come in to a coin with a market cap of $2.5 trillion is insane. And I don't see it. I don't see it. The scenario where we run into next year, which is plausible, given to where we've got to, look at what we're going to get in October. We're going to get 11 trillion ETFs. We're going to get a rate cut. Powell is going to be against the wall. Trump is going to have him by the throat. GDP is on the rise. Trump wants a 3% rate cut. We're going to get 0.25% in October, probably another rate cut in November. So there's a lot of gas left in the tank. We've also got QE, which hasn't really kicked in. The midterms next year, everything suffers. So we've got until the midterms. So maybe we run into Q1, and that is plausible. We had a different scenario in 2021. That's the hard part. 2021, we were coming out of COVID. We had all the money coming into the economy. Money printer was blowing up left, right, and centre. America printed 30% of its currency. The UK probably did 20% of its currency. It just all blew up. There was money everywhere, and Bitcoin just went to 69,000. This time we don't have that. This time we are teetering on the edge of recession, and we've got high interest rates. We've got QE not happening. It's a different market. So we top now in November, which is what the cycle says, or we run into next year. And again, I still believe we'll top in November, but when we get there, we need to reassess. And as I've made an OG video. Last night I made an OG video, and in it I gave you all of my price predictions for the top 10 or 15 tokens in my OG video. And I'm only going to do that for the OGs because that's what they do. They support the channel, and that's what we do. We support them back. Lots of comments in chat. Simon, bring back the Chronos Pulse. I will. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 minute. Terribly sorry about that. We had somebody, a delivery was here. Anyway, go back to the Chronos Pulse. There's a few... So, I don't want to get distracted from the stream, but basically, I have to have some eye operations. So it makes it very difficult for me to see things on a screen, makes it very difficult for me to do as much work as I was doing at the start of the year. And, you know, things that would take me half an hour take me an hour, things that take me an hour take me 2 hours. It just doubles the amount of time. So on a Sunday, I get up at 8 o'clock, and in the past, I'd have everything done by midday. And now I'm getting 3/4 of the work I need to get done by 12 o'clock. So I can't actually fit it in with my eyes. So I have, I think I have an operation in November, which will sort my eyes out. You got to remember the Chronos Pulse. It's like 6 to 8 articles or 6 to 8 news pieces. Then it's compiled into 3 videos. I then have to put the videos together, edit the videos together and put it live. It takes about 2 hours. I don't have that time at the speed that I can make things, if that makes sense. So the reason I am not doing the Chronos Pulse is not because I've given up on Chronos. It's because I can't see well enough to do the editing. So yesterday I did 2 videos on a Sunday, and that took me 4 hours. Whereas if I'd have done that in January or February, those 2 videos would have taken me 2.5 hours. So I just can't see well enough at the minute to do the videos. And that is simply how it is. It's fine. They're not big operations. Basically, I had an operation on my eye last November, and it grew a cataract, which is like this cover on your eye, and you basically can't see. So when it's bright, you can't see. And believe it or not, right in front of me is a ring light. So it's difficult to see. And that's the problem. So it's not a big operation. It's just removing the cataracts. But I have to wait to have a pre-op and then all this kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it on here, but you get the idea. I haven't given up everything. But if you look at our channel, I used to do 4 or 5 videos, maybe 3 or 4 videos a week on the channel. I used to live stream 5 or 6 times a week. And then we used to do the Wednesday nights as well. And this year, that's been reduced to hardly any videos on YouTube. A couple of videos on X, and then we live stream. It's easier for me to live stream because I can sit here and talk. Lasers basically. They sit you down, they put a thing over you, they cut a hole, they go zap, 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 and then you're out. It's a very, very, very minor operation. The operation I had in November was me in bed for 30 days lying on my right hand side because I couldn't move, because they basically reattached my eye. That's what they did. So that was a major operation. But then from that, I got the cataracts. Anyway, that's long and short of it, and I don't want to take up too much time. I have to cash out 1 Bitcoin for an operation. Believe it or not, these cataract operations, if I went private, I think they're like probably about $3,000 per eye. So it's not a lot of money. But there's an inconvenience to me going private. I have to go a distance away to go private. There isn't anywhere local that will do it privately. The hospital will do it, which is 10 minutes away. But to go private, I've got to go probably an hour and a half, and I've got to go into a different country, and then I've got to make my way back from that different country, and it adds a layer of complication. And it's not life-threatening. It's just an inconvenience to you all. That's what it is. So anyway, we were talking about Bitcoin, the Fed's next move on October the 29th, how a scenario few expect could derail US stocks and crypto. Markets brace for the Fed's FOMC decision amid shutdown in US jobs market and inflation uncertainty. Will crypto and stocks vulnerable to sharp downside moves? Now, we moved to the upside on the 30th to the 31st of October 2021. And the reason I've included this article, history does not repeat, history rhymes. The 29th of October will be rate cut. The 29th of October is where we really started to run 4 years ago. There is a pattern in the 4-year cycle, which everybody talks about. But there's also a pattern in the macro in the economy, in stock exchanges, in the housing market, in migration, in everything there are patterns, because the entire universe is based on patterns. It's not lost on me that the Fed's next move is at the time that kicked off the bull run in 2021. It's not lost on me that. Bear that in mind, okay? Now, this man is finished, okay? I really, really respect Chairman Powell, but he left it too late. He left it too late because he was scared by the tariffs that Trump was bringing in. Trump brought him to the White House and explained to him how Trump was going to run with the tariffs, and he still bottled it. We have not seen the mass inflation in America that he said was going to happen. We haven't seen the mass unemployment in America that he said was going to happen. We haven't seen the $25,000 iPhone that he said was going to happen. Maybe he didn't say that, but you get the idea. Okay? Trump not only shook the world, he shook Powell. And that is weakness. In my opinion, it's weakness. And all through the Biden administration, he flushed the economy of the inflation which came about from COVID. And he did a brilliant job. But he's a conservative Fed chairman. Overly conservative. The rates should have been cut in June. I'm not calling for rate cuts in January or February, in June. All the data from whoever you looked at pointed to the fact that the economy was fine. We've still got inflation at 2%. We've now got GDP 0.5% higher than expected. And we've still got some of the highest rates America has had in years. Why didn't he cut it by 0.5%? Why isn't he cut it 0.5% in September and 0.5% in October? Because he's too conservative. At this rate, it's going to take 2 years for him to get interest rates down. And I know what you're going to say. They can overheat the economy. It's a dead cat bounce. Inflation's going to go back to 4%. I know what you're going to say. You can overheat an economy. Yes, I get that. You can also stall an economy. Okay? You take any plane and you point it straight up at the sky, and eventually it'll run out of oxygen and the engines will stop running. Okay? There's two sides to every coin, and the balancing act is not leaving it too late. The economy takes months to turn around. Okay? 6 to 12 to 18 months trailing from the decisions he makes today. Everybody was telling him to cut rates, and they held their ground. People resigned from the Fed over the fact that he wasn't acting quickly enough. If that doesn't tell you all you need to know, I don't know what to do. Can Ethereum price hit $5,000? Of course it can hit $5,000. It's $400 off. And it's not really an exclusive, is it, Kadir? Ethereum price rebounds above 4,500 as analysts eye a new all-time high by year-end, driven by ETH ETF's tokenization growth and strong market demand. The SEC proposed innovation exemption could reshape crypto rules, speeding ETH ETF approvals and boosting US competitiveness in the blockchain. What I would say about this is we will hit $5,000 this month. We might not stay above $5,000, but we will hit $5,000 this month. It's easy to make these predictions when the market is in this position. Now, as I said when we were talking about Bitcoin, there is a good chance that we retrace to 118 or something like that in the next few days, because I still think we're a bit early. And if that happens, then Ethereum could go down to 4,003, 4,002. It's still less than 20% away from all-time highs. It's 2 good candles away from all-time highs. And $5,000 is a great figure. And I'd love to see us break 5,000, hold 5,000, and then move on up. But we haven't got a lot left to move up to. We're not going to $60,000. We're not even going to go to $10,000. I had a target for Ethereum of about $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 last year. And that was based on the ETFs. That was based on Trump. That's based on lots of things. Now, it got stuck. Grayscale dumped it the way Grayscale dumped Bitcoin, and it really impacted on Ethereum. And if you remember at the end of last year and the very beginning of this year, if you can remember what I was saying, The Ethereum ETF is doing incredibly well, but nobody's looking at it because everybody is looking at Bitcoin. The market cap of Ethereum is a lot lower than Bitcoin. It's not going to do the same numbers, okay? The dumbass reporters out there, it's only doing 20% of the volume of Bitcoin. Well, guess what? It's not even 20% of the market cap of Bitcoin, so it's actually doing better. And now, all of a sudden, all the reporters, because we've pumped to $4,500, oh my God, it's doing $2 billion, it's doing $2 billion, oh my God, it's going to go to the moon. We said this in January. It's October. It did incredibly well, but it was ignored because the price was suppressed or whatever. And the next thing that didn't happen, which I've said needs to happen, is we didn't get ETH staking. What's going to push us above $5,000 in October? ETH staking. Okay? Think about this. You have a BlackRock Ethereum ETF, and you are paying BlackRock 0.1% for the privilege of having that. The second this goes live, you will get 2%, maybe, extra Ethereum every year. BlackRock will take the difference and there'll be zero fees. So BlackRock are suddenly going from charging you 0.1% to giving you 2% and covering all of the fees with the rest. So who wins? You do. So you are going to see a $5,000-$6,000 Ethereum very soon. And this news is going to happen this month. So I can clearly say, without a shadow of a doubt, we're seeing a $5,000 Ethereum this month. It's massive news. Massive, massive news. Okay? And it's going to happen. If we continue to see strong demand via ETH ETFs and corporations along with favorable macro conditions and continued growth in stablecoins and tokenization, I would not be surprised to see ETH surpass its all-time highs by year-end. Leon, Coinpedia, are you serious? We're at $400 away from $5,000 and you're talking about hitting it by year-end. Are we just going to dump then for the rest of October? I honestly, I mean, maybe I'm way off the mark, but I think we're going to break $5,000 this month and then retrace. And maybe we go into November at 4.8, 4.9. Totally achievable. But that news is going to pump the price of Ethereum. The day it is announced, it's going to pump. And it doesn't even have to pump it a lot. A few $100. That's all it has to do. XRP completes short-term golden cross, but is it enough? Again, how am I supposed to pronounce the name of this author? Tommy Wabold? Tommy Wabold, we'll go with. Has just completed a golden cross. This occurs when a short-term MA crosses above a long-term moving average. The pattern has recently appeared on a short-term chart, in particular the 2-hour chart, and comes as XRP sees renewed bullish momentum as October starts. XRP has steadily rebounded since September 26th, going past the 293 barrier. Since October the 1st, the rally has surpassed $3 consecutively since this date, but has not been able to progress beyond $3.10. Again, it's sitting in the pack. How long do we have left, by the way? 11:45. I think we've got plenty of time, haven't we? We've got 3 articles, 15 minutes, and then I will talk about Wolfies at the end. I'll talk about Wolfies. We need to stop the bear from getting the Wolfies, by the way. So we've held at $3. We might aim at $3.30, $3.50. I don't really care about that. We spoke on Friday about somebody saying that XRP was likely to go to $4 and then get rejected to $2, and I said that was nonsense. If we go to $4, we will find support at $3. $3 has been massive resistance, has it not? So when we break it, and let's say we do go to $4, where's the first price that we will find major support at? We will find it at $3. I don't see us going to $2 in this bull run, okay? In the bear market next year, I can clearly see XRP coming down to $2. And maybe $2 is the bottom for XRP in the bear market. Again, we talk about the growth of crypto, and with the growth of crypto, the volatility starts to shallow out. Where we used to see 90% dips, we might see 60, 70% dips. Where we see 60% dips, we might see 30% dips. We've covered this before. Maybe Bitcoin tops out at 180,000 and in the bear market only comes down to 120,000. That's entirely plausible because it's a $2.5 trillion market cap. Or maybe we don't. Maybe it goes from 180, 140, and then it wobbles around between 140 and 150, and then the next macro comes along and it goes back up to 180, 190. We might not see the same cycles we've seen before. Remember, the last great bull run. That's what this is, okay? And I mean that because we are now going to go from adoption to maturity. Next year, the year after, the market will start to mature. This is the adoption phase. And as I've said before, we needed retail adoption, we needed corporate adoption, we needed institutional adoption, then we needed sovereign adoption. All those different things had to happen. And what we've seen is we've seen it all merging together. Companies, countries, institutions, retail via ETFs have come in. It's all happened pretty much at the same time. So XRP going to $4, I think, is written. My target, remember, I've made videos about this one, $5 to $7, isn't going to go any higher. If we do, it will be a wick or a day or 2 days, and that will be it. Maybe it goes to $8, $9, okay? But $6.89, everybody's calling for $689 XRP, $6.89, perfectly fine for me. Now, the XRP filings are talking about going live this month. The Solana ETF filings are talking about going live this month. You've got the CME Group with options on XRP on the 13th of October, which is what, a week today? It's all happening in real time, and maybe we run out of year before we run out of bull run. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. Maybe we've got so much going on, we run out of days, and then maybe that carries us into next year. Now, I am changing my tune on this slightly. Still think November top, but I can't ignore the fact that we're getting all of these ETFs going live. Interest rate cuts. I can't ignore that. So I have to take on new information, and maybe, and I'm going to say it, maybe I'm going to be wrong. Maybe all-time high does come in November, but then maybe we run into January or February. Maybe we do. Okay? I'm just putting it out there, and I'm not covering my back. Not covering my back. I've said November the 24th, 2025 for 2.5, 3 years. I'm going to stick to it until I'm wrong. Right, USD1 stablecoin faces scrutiny over reserve transparency. This is, of course, the stablecoin of World Liberty Financial. I've covered this a couple of times. The profits from USD1 are going to be used to buy back WLFI token. WLD is WorldCoin, which I don't like. October the 5th, report surfaced questioning the transparency of USD1 stablecoins reserve certifications issued by World Liberty Financial involving deep financial ties to the Trump family. Well, of course it does. It's half owned by the Trump family. What kind of stupid comment is that? This scrutiny highlights potential conflicts of interest, raising concerns over national security, impacting market confidence in the growing stablecoin sector. This sounds like a Democrat has written this. Elena Zenth. Is that a man? Is it a woman? Who knows? But it sounds like a Democrat. I wouldn't say that this is the way to describe World Liberty Financial. I would say that World Liberty Financial is part owned by the Trump family, because it is part owned. It doesn't have deep financial ties. Okay, you're trying to spin a story. Now, again, raising concerns over national security. So a stablecoin with a $3 billion market cap that exists in Web3 is a threat to national security. Okay? Nonsense. NYDIG analysts have expressed concerns over the reserve certification reports of USD1, stating they fall short of industry-leading standards and need improvement. Claims that the USD1 stablecoin is backed 1-1 by US Treasury bonds and cash equivalents are central to the debate. The Trump family involvement with WLF has increased scrutiny as previous concerns of conflicts of interest and national security remain a focal point. Regulatory interest. US senators previously raised questions on oversight of stablecoins. Okay, so CoinMarketCap's recent chart reveals that USD1 holds a market cap of 2.68 billion with a 24-hour trading volume. Fine, so what? Does it have 2.68 billion in reserves? Okay, so that is an absolute nothing burger of an article. I believe that journalism in the crypto era must be bold, fact-driven, and fearless. My mission is to expose truth, decode trends, and empower readers through informed reporting. You have hit the fake, false branch on the way down your tree, Miss Elena Zenth. This has been written as a hit piece. I guarantee you now, and I've said this before, the Trump family are going to use World Liberty Financial to extract as much profit from crypto as humanly possible and make multi-generational wealth from it. To do that, they're going to push forward their own stablecoin. Their own stablecoin gets to $100 billion in market cap. It's already at 3. Gets to $100 billion in market cap. It will be generating $4 to $5 billion a year in revenue, which will be used to buy back and burn World Liberty Financial tokens. That reduces the supply of WLF, and guess what? Guess who the biggest holders of WLFI are? WLFI. Mr. and Mrs. Trump and Trump Jr. and Lanky Trump Jr. and the Eric Trump Jr., I suppose. They all own it. So you're telling me that they're going to create a stable coin and leave holes in it to allow the Democrats to attack them? This is the kind of crap that was written about Tether and Circle 3 or 4 years ago. Okay? So don't talk about uncovering the truth, Elena. You've written a hit piece, and a crap one at that. Right then. AstraDex sets October date for airdrop checker, and Claim Portal launches new reward program. Be very careful in your emails that you don't go to anything that tells you about an airdrop. Okay? Now, I get to a couple of my different email addresses, I get various different airdrop checkers. I get Jupiter, Radium, World Liberty Financial. I get Orca airdrop checkers, BNB. They're all scams. Please listen to me. Never give anybody your seed phrase and never click on any of those links. Okay? The sending email address is always going to be something like claimportal@scunthorpedentistry.co.uk or something like that, right? It's going to be a hacked email address sending you a link to a website that's going to strip you of all your crypto. That's just how it works. I'm not saying this is a scam, by the way. I'm saying what you're going to receive in the next few weeks will be scam messages about stuff like this. So you will be able to claim from this portal the same way that you will be able to get your Jupiter airdrop on October the 21st. But it's not going to be an airdrop. It's going to be a claim. Astra will be a claim. So you will be able to go in there and check to see how many you're going to get. Then you're going to be able to claim them, and then you might be able to take them to your wallet or unlock them or whatever they decide to do. So this is going to happen. They've done it in seasons. There's a few different streamers, crypto streamers that I watch for different things, and they've been talking about how to farm this. You can farm it with volume. You can farm it with deposits. You can farm it with lots of different things. All I will say about this is it's great to get the coins, but remember that all of these airdrops will suppress the price in the short term, maybe not the long term. So just be careful that if you get an airdrop that's worth $1,000, it's not likely to be worth $1,000 in 5 or 6 weeks' time. And on the whole, my advice, non-financial advice, is to sell the second you get it and then wait. Wait for a couple of weeks for it to bottom and then buy back in, if that's what you get. So you get $1,000 worth of token. The token's worth $1, say. So you get $1,000 worth of a token, and then the token price drops to 50 cents. You can then buy 2,000 of those tokens. So that's the way to look at it. And I don't know enough about Aster's circulating supply or buy pressure or anything like that. But on the whole, my advice is sell. I've never held a token. I've never sold a token that I look back on and think I should have kept that. The only one I've kept has been Jupiter, really. I've kept a bit of Pengu. I kept a little bit of Wen and stuff like that. But on the whole, I've sold them all because you tend to get the hype around it to build it up, to make it look good. So if they're going to drop 320 million tokens, that is $640 million entering the market. And I guarantee $500 million of that will be sold. So you got to bear that in mind. Okay? So anyway, this is going to happen. Keep an eye out for this if you're farming it. And as I said right at the start of the show, what did I say? I said that it's about to be listed on Binance. Okay? Bear that in mind as well. A few questions or a few comments? You think we're going to hit $138,000 as all-time high for Bitcoin? That is a possibility. I think we're getting into the end game. I think we're definitely getting into the point where we should be looking at the price of Bitcoin and saying, why are we telling people to buy Bitcoin for this cycle? If they want to buy it for this cycle, they should have bought it at $20,000. If we do go to, also, to add to your point there, if we do go to $138,000, the bottom was what, 16,000? So is there a multiple in there of that? Can't work it out in my head. 8, 7 times 16, 70, maybe a bit more than that, 8 times. I don't know. Anyway, I think possibly 138. If we get to 138,000, fine. We might go a bit higher. We might not get there. But where are we now? $124,000. What are you going to get back? 10 to 20% more on your Bitcoin? If you're here watching this and you don't know anything about crypto and you want to hold something for a very long time, you buy Bitcoin. And that's it. You don't buy anything else. Don't buy Ethereum. Don't buy Solana. Don't buy XRP. Don't buy Aster. Don't buy anything else. Just buy Bitcoin. Okay? And you hold it for 20 years or however long you need to hold it for. And that is the only true way you are going to build wealth. Okay? I am not selling my Bitcoin. I have decided, start of this year, not going to sell. ETH, I will sell. I am going to sell ETH. I was mining ETH. I was buying ETH at $70 and $100. My ETH is now almost going to be 100xing. I'm going to sell it all, apart from Bitcoin. Then the reason I'm going to sell it all, apart from Bitcoin, is the amount of money it will give me in fiat, that if I put that into 5, 7, 9% return, it's going to make me a lot of money. So if I can make a lot of money and keep my Bitcoin, I'm going to do that. That's just how it is. If, for example, Bitcoin goes to $400,000, $500,000, and I sell that, I'm going to be very, very rich. But it's not there yet. So Bitcoin is the only true cryptocurrency. It's the only true store of value, only true inflation hedge, immutable, whatever you want to call it. Now, Wolfies, since it's 12:01, this is my strategy for Wolfies. We may very well live stream it. We haven't told Alex. We've not talked to Alex about it. We might live stream the launch and live stream me trying to buy them. Now, that's going to go one of two ways. It's going to crash, or it's going to go through the roof. Buy Gains as well, absolutely. Buy the Gains token from Monkey Muscle. I totally agree with that comment as well. I'm going to try and buy 10. And the reason I'm going to buy 10 is I want to do some giveaways. I'm not going to go through it too much on here. It's too late in the day for that. But I expect to try and buy 10. And if I get 10 of them between $36 and $40, what's that? Let's say $400, which I've put to one side to buy them. I'm going to give away maybe 4 or 5 of them to people that watch me every day. Okay? Maybe I don't even do a competition. Maybe just give them to people. Okay? There are people that DM me. There are people that message me. There are people that give me support. There are people that are there in the darkest times, messaging me to see if I'm all right. Maybe I just give them to people that have supported me for the last 2.5, 3 years. There won't be enough to do that. There won't be enough Wolfies that I can buy to do that, but I will choose some. And then maybe we give some away on quiz nights, maybe. But I want them to go to deserving homes. And that's why maybe I give them away to, OGs and stuff like that. Yes, giveaways to the OGs of the channels, yeah, basically. There's going to be a rank, of course. Because we do have a subscription that we never talk about. That we have people that pay towards the channel every month. And those people have been paying towards the channel for a very long time. And, I'm sure through the giveaways that we do and the competition nights, I'm sure it probably evens out that the people that subscribe to us and pay to subscribe to us, I'm sure they get their money back tenfold. I don't really care. But they support us. Maybe they all get one, if I can afford to do that. Maybe the people that show up on Telegram. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. But I've got to get the 10 first to do it. So this is a hypothetical scenario that we're in. But we will do it. And if you're rolling out 404s as well, then you need to let me know about them and I'll go and have a look at them and, include them in a stream, put them on the Chronos night, maybe do a Chronos Pulse. Like I said, my plan is that by the end of November, I should be back to full steam. So the irony is, and this isn't lost on me, the irony is that I have my eye operation on the day of the all-time high. That is what I think could happen. Now, the other thing is my wife's birthday is the 24th of November, which was the last all-time high. My operation last year was the 21st of November. My operation this year is likely to be about the 21st of November. So there is something magical around the 21st to 24th of November, which is why I think it will be the all-time high as well. Anyway, I better go. It's 12:04. Thank you all for watching. I'm streaming again tomorrow. Tomorrow won't be as many charts. We'll try and look at a bit more of a diverse range of coins tomorrow. Again, as I said, if you're not an OG member and you want to support the channel, DM me and I'll let you know how. If you want to watch the Wolfie minting, let me know. Maybe we'll do it on X. I'm going to get 10. That's the plan. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you all in the morning. Thanks all for coming.